We are back, episode 18 of the Paradox Podcast with my brother Jeff. How you been living, brother?
Finally over these allergies for the most part. Been taking my medication, so I sound somewhat normal. Energy levels are back to a somewhat normal place.
hmm
Good. I'm optimistic. Cool. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. Um, this summer is like I don't know, I feel good. Like my summer routine has been on and off in terms of like intensity, but I've been keeping my workout routine good, been hella productive. A little bit more opportunities, circulating around me, so I can't complain, bro. Whatever I got, I'm using. So,
Nah,
yeah.
damn, bro. I ain't been able to work out in like 2 weeks.
Sheesh.
Yeah, body aches and I was just felt weak. I was weak. So just getting
Oh,
back.
yeah, because you were sick. Yeah, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, man. So yeah, can get back on it. Go back on it though. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. That's like a big theme for me right now. It's like if I'm not kind of staying right with myself, it feels like, I don't know. It feels like something's off.
hmm
And it doesn't matter what else happens that will like annoy me.
Yeah.
When I go through my day, I'm like, dang, man, you didn't eat a lot of fruit today. What are you doing? Or I need to get my steps in because I've been using my health app more.
Yeah.
And I wish I had an Apple Watch, but I've been just using my phone. So like I'll track my steps and track my protein. And I'm like, damn, I didn't get my 8K today. Let me go outside real quick. Um,
Yeah, the older you get, the more excited you get about like the simple things like, oh, like I'm eating healthy or I got, I exercise on time, I woke up on time.
hmm
And yeah, it's just funny.
Yeah, it's I've been enjoying those small things. I
Mm,
think off camera we were talking about wanting to execute the way you want to execute, and I guess just having things you want to do, things you want to achieve, and facing this constant wall of failure or disappointment or inconvenience, even. And I think what's important, what I've been realizing just in what we just talked about, like for fitness, or health for that matter, is that it's not so much what you do today, but it's what you continue to do. That determines the significance of failure
yeah.
or disappointment. So, which is a relief, but a lot of times when that thing happens, you can easily blow it up in your head,
Mm,
and maximize it, where you're just like, nah, it's all ruined, or like, man, my momentum is gone.
yeah.
And like my favorite quote is like, thinking makes it so. So
Mm,
once you've said that, you've kind of already lost the battle,
yeah.
the mental battle.
Yeah.
So for you, what keeps you in the game? What keeps you still keep that positive momentum when you're met with inconvenience, when it comes to staying on your path or staying on your routine.
Mm. It usually comes from stripping things away. So usually
Mm,
that stems from just doing too much. You know,
yeah.
Surrounded about around too many people. It's never really the wrong people anymore. I think I'm past that. Or I'm aware of who I shouldn't be around. It's either too many people, too many events, going out too much, uh burning out from like too many sessions or things like that, things that just don't pour back into me. Um and it's just kind of taking them, not necessarily taking them away, taking a step back to kind of replenish, refocus, reflect, and reprioritize. It's
Mm-hmm.
more so that. So time away. There really isn't any. I have my regimen, wake up, exercise, drink tea, all that type of stuff that aids that you know, that helps me get back to that state. But it's more so um taking time away
Mm-hmm.
is what keeps me in the game, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that maybe distancing yourself allows you to get a time to like think? I don't know how you feel, but whenever I'm in public or being social, I feel like I don't have time for analysis as much as you do when you're alone. Like, kind of assessing where you're at, the situation, how you're feeling,
Yeah.
just like checking in on yourself, essentially.
Do you think that's a skill one can develop, kind of being able to think clear in chaos, or do you think that shouldn't even be a thing?
Yeah, I feel like I don't know, I feel like awareness is a muscle
Mm,
too. So if you are starting to become more aware when you're isolated, when you get into groups or you're in, whatever, that muscle is still there. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because you've been using it. So it could just be like, oh, you're somewhere and you're like, okay, I have to get home because of I got to get up tomorrow to do this,
Mm,
you know? Or I don't know, just having your priorities in check, and because that means something to you, you have awareness when you're possibly in a situation where that can be affected.
yeah.
So, honestly, like this is something I do now where I'm like, oh, my protein's a bit low. I might have to whip in, go to Wawa or something and grab this or that.
Hmm.
And and I never thought like that. I never even cared about my protein at all for most of my life. But now I'm in a place of, okay, I want to be aware because this is the journey I'm on. You know what I mean? That means something to me. And this is what I have to do every day to
Right.
maintain, you know? And so I think it's eventually you get that way. You know what I mean? Definitely not an on and off switch where you're suddenly like that, but I feel like you just have to train your awareness towards caring about your priorities.
Yeah. And I think we have a little bit of just natural distraction in us. Like we're not perfect, so we're not always going to be 100% laser like focused. So keeping things
Mhm.
with you, healthy options, or um, making sure there's something that you're supposed to be doing nearby, or something like that, uh, is very helpful too.
Right.
Like we're not perfect, so if we have the opportunity to do the wrong thing, we will most times if we don't have something right or something to get us back on track close by.
Yeah. No, that's a good point because I feel like doing the wrong thing is okay. I don't think you can really demonize anybody because we're all human and we all have that tendency. That's like a part of our nature. But I think it's about getting the right lessons from
Yeah,
the wrong things you do.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we all do the wrong things. I think that there's a quote where it's like, you know, a wise man learns from others' mistakes, and a fool learns from his own.
Mm,
And I think there's just this notion of being aware about not only your own mistakes, but the people around you, so you can do less of them. So it's almost like you need the right lessons from your mistakes, but also from the people around you. Similar to maybe you might hear your parents say like, like learn from us. This is how we, raised you. Da da da. We're not perfect, but we want you to have a better life. Da da da. So in a way, that's like, hey, learn from our mistakes
yeah.
and be better. Again, awareness. How many people do we see in this world who kind of like let life kind of pass them by, not really learning from their mistakes, running in circles? So yeah, really, in the end, awareness saves you. You know what I mean? And it's not a matter of, oh, I shouldn't make mistakes. It's that I need to be making better mistakes.
Mm, yeah.
Uh,
That makes a lot of sense. That was a gem. We're all gonna make mistakes, like you said, making
mhm.
the right ones, um, to fall forward. I guess you could say.
Yeah, fall forward. Yeah.
Mm.
So in that case, where do you think that you in your own personal life have like fallen forward when it comes to building your own thing, or whether it be on about social media or music in general, where you're like, okay, I fell forward. Like that was a tough blow at first, but ultimately we're a lot farther than um
Mm, Definitely my engineering journey. You know, that I feel like I've spent the most time learning and being an audio engineer than anything else I've done in the industry. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, you know, when you start in anything, you're not that good. So, in addition to all of, you know, the hours of just YouTube rabbit holes and writing notes and hands-on practice in the studio, um, jumping into that first session, like nothing really prepares you for the real thing in anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, maybe recording slow with somebody who records fast or taking too long to, I don't know, EQ a vocal or just something that kind of throws the energy or the session off, something that's
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my first, in the industry at least, the first examples, experiences of failing forward. Yes, it didn't go as planned, but I don't even know what as planned is yet. I just know that I want to do this thing. So I learn as I go. And that's really been my whole engineering journey is failing forward. Whether it's, you know, setting the atmosphere, making the song actually sound good, mixing, just regular studio etiquette, all of that. Uh, Another example will probably be probably school, like especially college. College for me was all failure, was all failing forward. I wasn't a menace. I was just you know, not a prime student. Probably,
Right.
yeah, I was not a good student in a bunch of ways. So there, failure means failure to me in school meant outcast, different, like taking the road less traveled, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
So it was two types of failing forward between the studio stuff and school. The failure at school showed me that I am not built for a regular life or something with a blueprint. So although I was a terrible student in college, I never really went to class. I failed in all aspects, didn't really go to parties, like I missed the entire college experience. I discovered what I was really supposed to be doing and
Mm-hmm.
better off for it. So yeah, probably two main examples. There's a ton more, but those are probably the two that come to mind. What about you?
Mm, I would say working, like doing the regular life, like giving it a chance, and then realizing that it wasn't for me or it was making me miserable.
Yeah,
And I kind of was like, all right, let me take a risk on myself. And when I did that, it felt like everything was like going wrong,
yeah,
like all the time.
yeah.
And like even the good things that did happen, it's almost like I didn't know how to be happy in the free fall. Because that's
Mm.
really what it is. It's like you're trying to be stable, but it always just feels like you're falling, like all the time.
Is that an attitude thing? Like, because you can fail and you
It
can.
is an attitude.
Okay,
So
yeah,
I felt like there was always something I was failing at, and that's what I was fixated on.
uh-huh,
You know what I mean? Despite there being growth,
yeah,
because when I first left my job in 2023, I was like, all right, I had a plan. The plan worked,
mm,
but then I was like, oh, I need another plan. You know what I mean? Because it was like I was just setting like the plan wasn't like a forever plan. It was like this
yeah,
is the just for right now plan.
yeah,
So it always felt like okay, things are not working, things are not working. But every time I knew that it wouldn't like kill my spirit. You know what I mean? Like kill my enthusiasm.
mm,
Like it felt like real growth.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And that this is something like over the years,
mm,
you know, like over the past like 3, 4 years, everything has felt more like, okay, it's not failure. You know, it's a matter of molding or it's a
mm,
matter of character building.
yeah,
Whether that's financial struggles, um, being right with my business, being like,
Mm,
okay, I'm not making money. It's been years, whatever, still not making money. So I feel like you going through that sooner or later for me, it just clicked. Like I have to fixate on different things,
yeah.
and because of that, now I'm seeing progress
Mm,
and a lot of the things that I struggled with before, I don't have those problems, but now I have new problems.
yeah.
But like I said, I'm happy because I'm now making different mistakes. Like I'm not making the same mistakes I was making in 2023.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think just like the entrepreneurial beginning was terrifying, and it felt like everything was a L. Like it was like probably like 85% L's,
Mm,
15% dubs. But then I realized that was a matter of perspective. In the end,
yeah.
so yeah, like you said, I feel like there's hella anecdotes we can pull from our individual journeys, but for me, I think that huge one is probably like a big like, oh, I fell forward. Like even now, I'm like, I fell forward.
It's just learning at the end of the day. Like even I'm noticing in school, you were given a lesson, you were given how to do something, and you only failed when you couldn't memorize, repeat it, or I don't know, do the problem or whatever you have it. Now there is no blueprint or nobody handing you anything. There's like people who have done what you're doing in their own way that you can pull from and kind of imagine, yourself going through that same path, but of course it's different for everybody. It's just a constant cycle of learning. Like it's not even failure or it's mistakes, like that's the term for it, but it's just a constant cycle of learning. And once you really fall in love with just learning something new every day, you again, the whole cliche, you can start to enjoy the journey, not the destination. And that's what it's become. Like we fail every day, small, big, but we don't see it that way anymore. Going back to it's a mind shift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a mental game, and I didn't know that when I was in it for
Hmm.
the longest of time, and maybe that's why everything felt like a failure, because I was failing the first game,
Yeah,
the one
facts.
that you know what I mean. So everything else was kind of just gonna be a L anyway.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I saw a video that was talking about it's not the hardest thing in doing what we're doing in the entrepreneurial space is really more or less handling uncertainty more than anything. It's bigger than like the work we do, like the mental push and pull of uncertainty, and can you handle the gravity on it? Especially when you get what you pray for in terms of clients and opportunities and exposure and visibility. That is when things ramp up,
Yeah.
you know? And not only are you making mistakes now, but now you're doing it in front of people.
Yeah.
And I think that was, even now, I'm just like, wow, I really did all those things, but I was essentially doing them in the dark. That's what it feels like back then. And now I'm like, if I want to try something and do something, it's like this is in the spotlight, you
Mm.
know? And I think that's another aspect of failure that terrifies people
Yeah.
is that, especially when we talk about social media, is that your efforts are essentially a global broadcast. You're on a globally broadcasted platform. So no one wants to put themselves out there when the stakes are high. You know what I mean? It's like the illusion of like all these eyes are watching or could watch, or I'm being perceived constantly. That
Yeah.
makes people be like, okay, I don't want to fail. I want to come out as this polished, refined, you know, individual, whatever it may be. And I feel like that's dangerous. It's a dangerous lie. You know what I mean? Because if you believe it, it'll paralyze you, essentially.
Yeah. You're sacrificing connection for like the sense of like being perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is it's such a weird place to be in mentally because it's
Mm-hmm.
something that doesn't exist. Perfect doesn't exist. You can't please everybody, like all these sayings that we have grown to know and live by. So to live every day, like trying to walk on eggshells, like that's it's not a good life.
Yeah, it's a life that is built from fear.
Yeah.
Fear is your foundation when you live
Yeah.
that life. You know what I mean? And so there's no way you can break out of those chains if you, again, thinking makes it so. So if your fear is your foundation and you're um like that's your feedback loop.
Mm,
I'm scared to do this. I'm scared to do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. All these statements that you're saying to yourself, you're creating your own prison.
yeah.
And I think there's a quote I have up here. It's like, oh yeah, from Peter Crone, you're a victim of your perspective. So if that's what you really believe, then a lot of times it's really getting out of your own way,
Yeah.
and that even goes from what we've been talking about this whole episode of failure, is that if your perspective of failure is not one that empowers you, it will debase you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why we talk about it's a mental game. And this is not something, I mean, Jeff, you probably would agree with this. It's like we're not the masters or the of failure. I think it's just something that like we
We
do it and we move.
exactly. We embrace it. We're open to it.
Mhm.
I have an opportunity to fail means I have an opportunity to learn and get better at whatever it is that I'm trying.
Mhm.
You know, ASAP Rocky put it perfect. Like, when does it become uncool to try? It's
Yeah.
failed. So what? Somebody never tried. And I think tricking yourself into thinking like not trying or always doing the right thing is success is dangerous too.
Mhm.
Like, because, there are some people who go through life kind of just, I'm taking no risks, but I'm comfortable, stable. You know what I mean? And I don't know that the illusion is so dangerous because you can feel perfectly fine. You can have the family, have the stability, quote unquote, in whatever, but there's another side to that that is so much more adventurous and fulfilling that you may never get to see. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. It's tough because I know you do a lot of artist development,
Mm.
and ultimately, I don't know how you feel about how can you really communicate this? You know what I mean? Is this something that can be told to someone and it clicks? Or is this a matter of all you can do is lead them towards a perspective that empowers them and changes their mind about failure, but
Right.
you can't really do anything. And I also have friends where I've had this talk about failure and about effort and about maybe perception of like looking dumb or
Mm.
looking silly or just um, doing what you want to do and you're not being met with the expectations you want. But can you really change anyone's mind about this, or do you think this is a solo journey?
Again, I feel like it goes both ways. You can interfere, but it wouldn't be helping them.
Mm,
Like there is a way you can guide and maybe, yeah, learn from my mistakes, but it's kind of like raising kids. Like, you don't want your kids to make mistakes and be bad and go out and be terrible citizens, but you can't also keep them in a box or keep them super sheltered because that can have
mm,
wild effect too. It's kind of like you have to lead with a 20-foot pole, kind of.
mm,
Like, you have to learn on your own for it to
yeah,
mean something. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
yeah, I don't think that it can be um taught or uh fashioned in a way, but there's definitely some sense of guidance, but you don't want to take it too far. It's different in each case. Yeah.
yeah. It's again, it's so tough because we have a lot of people we care about in this, and a lot of people who are insanely talented, and ultimately they have the keys
Mm,
to change their whatever situation and environment they're in. But again, we can't rewire their brain. We can't fluctuate their capacity for willpower. We can't do that as much as we really want to. If we had a magic wand or whatever, and we're able to put inspiration in people. That's not us. We can't do that. But to you, what do you think is the best way you've gotten through to somebody? Personally, I mean, this might be screwed up, but I always thought pain worked for me. It
Mm,
always, for me, it came from, I wouldn't say an unhealthy source, but maybe a source that I could use at the time. And it's because failure hurt so much.
mm,
I was forced to look in a direction that would empower me, because to look at where I was would
yeah,
only hurt me more,
yeah,
and I could see it now. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it is brutal. And again, back to the raising kids, I don't know if I would want my kids to like almost throw them in the fire and be like, "This is gonna make you strong."
Mm,
I don't know if I have the heart to do that, but I do know that I went through a lot of stuff, and internally it felt like it was a lot of mental anguish, self-inflicted suffering,
mm,
and that changed. And as I was walking through that fire, I saw the light of failure,
yeah.
you know?
And
But I can't prescribe that. You know what I mean? Like I can't put that for somebody else, like, yeah, just do it, just do what I did, or throw yourself off the deep end
yeah,
and let me know how it goes, you know?
I think going as far into the darkness, not to make this morbid, as we have, earned us the type of awareness where you can see who you should interfere with and who you shouldn't. You can
Mm-hmm.
tell, oh, you're like me. Like you're you're meant for greater things. I'm not gonna give you too much. I might give you just enough to straighten your path a little bit. And then there's some people who you can kind of tell is like, here's the information.
Right, right.
Like, you know what I mean? So having that ability or that level of discernment too comes with great sacrifice and great struggle. Because when you're talking about this pain and this like it being more painful to stay than to leave, that's a mutual feeling. I understand that. I understand that very well. And I don't think everybody feels that. So being able to decipher which people to guide in which way is also very important.
Yeah, yeah. Again, I think it's like an awareness thing,
Mm,
because I feel like if we're talking about a friend, someone you know, like, oh yeah, like there's no point in talking to them. Like there's no point, because you know who they are and they're not going to respond to that. Whereas because they're your friend, you know that certain things will make them tick. Like no, they'll respond to that. That's who they are. Like they need stuff like that to get going. Um, but in a funny way, like I never felt like you need a coach for a certain part of your journey.
mm,
Like, I think a coach, like you said, like someone who guides you, maybe, and tells you, instructs you, directs you to a certain degree, is important eventually.
mm,
But there is a certain part of the journey where you have to be you have to take responsibility of being the engine.
yeah,
You know what I mean? The engine of your success, the engine of your journey. And so ultimately, you have to get to a point where you hold the reins on improving, on changing your perspective, on having a routine of consistency for whatever you're doing.
yeah,
And then being molded is an easier process. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So I feel like what's frustrating sometimes about when we work with people, it's kind of like they not they not really they didn't really do that work,
Mm-hmm.
that beginning stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they come to you, it's almost like it's kind of like, yeah, like you're I like you, I like you, you're cool, you do great work, but it's almost like who you are. It's like the mold of who you are.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And so again, I was going to say, like, I feel like it's easier to show instead of tell.
yeah.
I feel like people get it more when they see you do it,
Mm,
which is why I've even been slow to do a podcast or
mm,
to do talking videos because I'm just like, a part of me is like, let me just do me. Let me just be the artist that I want to be.
yeah,
I'll talk later.
yeah,
Um, but I folded on that because I felt like it was still important to talk, and also there's something that I've achieved that maybe someone can learn off of, at this point. So I said, you know what, it's fine. But I don't know how you feel, but I think showing might be stronger than telling for a lot of the journey, you know, before mentors and coaches and whoever comes in.
yeah. Like 20 years down the line, that's why what we're doing is important. That's why anybody who wants to be anything, documenting it in the early stages is
Hmm.
important because people want to know at this point in your life before you are hunch, let your accolades come after. Same with me. They want to know how you thought. They want to know what you went through and where you thought you would be in those 20 years, and now you're somewhere completely greater than what you even thought of. They want to know the process and how you got to that. That's why this is important. But I think on both sides, being the mentor and the mentee, uh, waiting is important. In the beginning, you need to fail. You need to get to a point where you understand that a mentor isn't supposed to be for everything. I go to you for a specific thing, and then I get another mentor for this, and then I get another mentor for that. But you need to do everything that you possibly can in your power to understand exactly what you even need. It's like an artist getting a manager before they need a manager. You haven't done
Yeah.
it yourself. You're just lazy.
Right, right. You got bigger fish to fry right now, but
like,
so
like that's what I credit, or that's what I am grateful for, and I'm sure you are too. I've done everything in the studio. I from the taking out the trash to managing the place. So I know who I need to hire, who I need to fire, how things are done right. And I think with self mastery and just that journey towards whatever goal you're trying to reach, you have to do it yourself, and you have to fail and get better. Not let it get to you. Fail, get better. Not let it get to you. It's a constant cycle of that. Um, yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of patience because these like walls of failure that you hit, they don't go away. You know, I don't think we get to a point where failure stops
hmm,
unless you just stop, unless you die. I don't know, unless you just stop trying anything or stop
yeah.
doing anything.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Which is why, again, people don't want to feel those feelings of failing or being uncomfortable or being the odd one out. So I think that's why most of society has opted for a safer life and comfort. I think there's a quote by Seneca that says, or Socrates, I don't know. It's like the softest pillow, or being comfortable is the softest pillow you can lay your head on.
Mm,
And it's dangerous because without failure there is no growth, you know? And I think we're in this interesting time where we kind of want to shortcut our way into, oh yeah, the least amount of failure,
yeah,
like to get to where we want to be.
yeah,
So we live in a weird time where I feel like we want so much, especially in this age of social media. We're exposed to a lot. We follow the people of whose lives we want,
yeah,
but ultimately we want the result, and we don't regard the work. And if we don't regard the work, we definitely don't regard the failures they had, the countless failures they had.
yeah.
So again, it leaves you at a funny place where you're just like, okay, then you might as well just stop wanting, you know. But that's impossible in this being human. We have such a greed for success, a greed for wealth, a greed for
Greed in general, like
yeah,
it's a lot of unlearning before you start to learn
yeah,
the right things. And often the result isn't as lively as the journey.
Mm,
It doesn't matter who you are. You've reached what you wanted to reach. You're bored.
yeah.
You're bored. It doesn't matter what it is. So what is the only thing left to do? Set another goal and keep trying. That's the way of life. That's natural.
Hmm.
I don't, not trying and staying stagnant and letting the fear consume you. It's not even not conquering the fear. No, I don't think anybody's conquered fear. I think you just do it scared.
Hmm.
That's a muscle you build as well, but you don't ever just I've beaten fear. Like you're not human.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, that's the skill is to work with it,
exactly.
not to like live without it.
Or ignore it or not acknowledge it. It's a real thing.
Hmm.
It can help you, like you said.
Yeah, it's essential, and we're we're living in an age where we're disregarding it and trying to like to live a life where we can optimize our way out of it,
Yeah, yeah,
Like think about the way tech is going. We're looking to shorten the processes of getting
yeah.
something. I always say like we live in an age of convenience. And I
Hmm.
remember saying that in like 2015. When I was in college, I was writing a lot of papers on like automation, like early AI.
Hmm.
And I used to talk about like how jobs are becoming like less obsolete or more obsolete, I mean, and that ultimately we'll be living in a world where we don't have to work and we don't have to do this and that, and like life will become easy for us. And really like fast forward almost like, 6 7 years from when I was thinking that, you know we live in a time where it's easier to do things, but there's still a need to complete tasks.
Yeah,
And you know what I mean? So in a way we're getting there, but
yeah,
we're still like we can't evade the importance of like working hard and
yeah.
like
The
um
task was never like the main thing. It was what
yeah,
you gained while doing the task.
the
So
value.
exactly. So now that that is automated, you don't have to try. You're missing out on the meaning of why you're doing the thing. That's what's gonna screw us. So I even with like, I don't know a kid who doesn't have a motorized scooter or motorized bike. I'm like no nobody's nobody's running anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
these are real signals to just
Mm.
what life will look like in just 5 years. And with everything, you have a choice. You could either, you know, give up your, I don't know. You can either give up or keep trying. I don't know, but yeah, I see a divide coming. Feel it.
Yeah. And it feels like at least conquering conquering the need. I mean, no, it's like conquering the need to not have failure. You know what I mean? Like just to be like, hey, like I know that failure is a part of it,
Yeah,
and like you said, embrace it. I think that was the best word, like to embrace it and to know that it's my friend. It's just like what Kobe, oh, like pretty much Mamba mentality. A lot of it is about like he said this one quote like to dance as beautifully in the box that you're in.
mm,
And a lot of that has to do about like effort and expression,
mm,
but it has nothing to do about the outcome.
mm,
And when it's not about the outcome, whatever you do is not going to fail.
mm,
And I think if we lived in a world that prioritized that, I think honestly we'd have a happier world.
for sure.
But we would have one where people can actually grow past their preconceived, notions of themselves, really,
Yeah,
and actually like really stretch their legs and get to where they're trying to get to. So ultimately, I think if we don't prioritize failure, we are trapped in the chains that we give ourselves. So
Indeed. And some people, that trap is very, very comfortable.
yeah,
Very, very comfortable.
beautiful. It's scrolling. It's the doom scrolling. It's the DoorDash. It's the motorized bikes and the scooters. It's the going out. It's the constant amusement. It is
Yeah,
never being detached.
yeah.
It's never unplugging from the matrix. It's a life of, I don't know, never being with yourself.
Which is not a life at all. So
Yeah.
keep trying. Keep trying, even if, everything is against you, everything is telling you to stop trying. You keep trying. Because that is the only sense of hope, especially when chasing something or working for something that you can't quite see yet. You always can rely on your ability to try.
Mm,
Yeah, I think that's very powerful. A lot of the journey is yeah, working for something you can't see yet. That you see,
yeah.
other people experiencing, but you haven't seen it for yourself yet. So working, trying, fixing, redoing, it's all you can do.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's a strong note to leave off of. If they didn't get it by now, they may never get it. Um, but yeah, this is solid episode.
Yeah.
Um, hopefully people can look at themselves. I feel like that's just what it is. If you look at yourself and you take it seriously, you could have listened to the first 5 minutes of this, and that's all you need.
Mm.
You know. So if it means something to you, it's gonna change something in you, type shit. So, yeah, that's episode 18, and we'll be back with something spectacular. Something I was about to use scrupulous, but that it's not the right time. It's not the right time for that word. Um, but yeah, Jeff, I appreciate you, brother,
Sure.
and we'll be back.
Till next time.
Peace.